So this was like February last year. This lady called me. She was like telling me that she wanted to sell her house. She was like, she sounded real distraught. And so I was like, okay. I was like, how much you want for it? And then I think she told me 40. I think she told me 30 or 40. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, when do you want me to look at it? I was like, I could look at it right now. She was like, I think she told me yes. I went there that day with the contract, and she told me that she owed like $10,000. I think she wanted 50,000. So we're all in that 60. So she said that the mortgage, she said they'll accept $10,000. So I was like, okay. So we called them. The property was under her husband, her former husband. He died, his name. And basically the mortgage people, they didn't want to talk to me or her. So we tried to negotiate to $10,000, like she said, but they were like, no, they wanted like $20,000. And so at that time I was like, well, would you accept 40,000 so we could be all in at 60,000? And she agreed. So we got the contract for 60,000. We opened up title, and Title took like a long time. They were just doing all this extra stuff, and I think it took like a month. I think it took a month and a half. Meanwhile, she's calling me like every day, asking me for an update. I'm telling her like, I'm giving her updates like the first couple of weeks, but after a while, I was just like, man, why don't you just call the title company and ask for like updates? And she was like, I'm calling you. Like, when I tell you she was calling me every day, she was calling me every day. Like, she's calling me every day, including the weekend. So every day I was expecting a phone call from her. She would call me like early in the morning, like 6, 7 in the morning. She'll wake me up a lot. I'll be at lunch. It'll be lunch all hours of the day, like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, 12, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think after 8, I stopped answering the phone because I was just like, I'm finna go to sleep. I'm not about to, like, the last person I'm gonna talk to is not gonna be you. So I stopped answering the phone. So, and then she would ask me about it. I'll just be like, hey, I was asleep, you know. My son goes to sleep early. I go to sleep early with him. Like, you know, it is what it is. So we had a problem with the title, and so we just moved it to another title company, and I think everything was basically my hard money lender was like, they wanted all these extra stipulations for whatever reason. So I kind of like, so I had to get loans out myself because they say OPM, other people's money. So every property you buy, you're supposed to use other people's money. So I got out like, I think I got a Navy Federal loan, I got a USAA loan, and then I got like a bunch of credit cards. I got American Express Platinum. I got like 2 more Chase. I got like 2 more Home Depot credit cards. You could get 3 in total, the regular ones. I think I got, and then like all like my Florida Core credit card, my Lowe's credit card. I got like increased balances on all of them. My city credit cards. I got like almost 40 credit cards, so I got a lot of credit cards. So at this time, I still do. I had like $250,000 of available credit. So I had the loan. I had like 30,000 at Navy Federal. I had like 20,000 at USAA, and then I had like I think I had like another 20,000 at SoFi for like the rehab. So I bought the house with my loan money. And I think we closed like a couple of weeks later. It took like 2-3 months for the title to clear and whatnot. And she called me like every like when I tell you she called me every day, she called me every day. So we closed around like, I want to say October. And we closed, I think she called, and I was like telling my wife, like, why she gonna stop calling me? She called me like 2 days after that, and she was just like asking me about like where could she move to, and I was like, I'm gonna get like a realtor or whatever, and I'm gonna get a realtor or whatever, and to help her on her journey. And we're gonna move her out like that. Like I told her, I'm gonna get a moving company, no cost to her. We're gonna move her out. And she's like, oh, okay, that's cool, that's cool. So I think I stopped hearing from her after a week. So I had my realtor, Michael, call her, and he called her, and I think she ignored his phone call. She was ignoring him. And so I'm calling her like, hey, man, like, how you doing? Like, what's going on? Like, we're trying to figure out, where you're going to move to. And then she was saying, like, she was having health issues and all these issues, and that she didn't feel well. And I was just like, ma'am, you have like $40,000 in cash. I need to start working on a property because I had loans on this property. I want to fix up the property so I can refinance it, get my money back, and then get a new tenant in there. And she just was like, okay, that's fine. And so, like, I think a whole 3 weeks passed. And at this time, I was like, hey, Michael, just like talk to her. Or I was like, hey, Michael, just find a place for her and we'll figure it out. Like, I think she wanted to pay like $600 a month or whatever. And so he found a place. I told her about it. And she was just telling me she was depressed. She blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what is she talking about? So I told her, like, hey, look, I'm gonna put a lockbox on the front of the door with the key, and I'm gonna have my contractors look at the property because I need estimates on I need an estimate on electrical, the plumbing. I'm gonna get the roof done. I told her I was gonna work on the outside and work my way in. And she told me, before we closed, she told me that was fine. Where I made a huge mistake at, I should have had her sign a lease agreement before we closed that she was gonna move out at a certain date. I just told her that I was gonna move out. I was gonna do the roof. I was gonna do the outside. I was gonna pressure wash the driveway. I was gonna do the siding, paint, and then at that time we're gonna do electrical, the plumbing, the sheetrock, and then we're gonna paint, and then we're gonna do like refinish the wood. And I should have had an agreement with her. Like, that was my fault. Like, never again. I would never do that again. In the past, like, the sellers were kind of slow to move, but they moved like at a decent time. Like, it would take them a month sometimes, but it would be okay because, like I said, I work from the outside and work my way in. And she, like, I think she never intended on moving out. I think she planned on moving out probably after like a year. Like, she never. I think she told me she was gonna get a car. It took her like a month to get a car, and she got a new car because her other car, like the AC went out, it was breaking down, whatever. I really truly believe she never intended on moving out. So, we told her, we found that spot for her. She was like, oh, I just got a little bit of stuff. I don't have a lot of, because I'm like telling her to pack. I got her bags, and I got her Home Depot boxes, and I got her everything. And then I knew she was trying to she was trying to still have control because she would have me and my tenants go from instead of going through the front door, she would have us go through the back door. And it just didn't make sense. Like, and then she started calling her sons on me. Like, that like really pissed me off because I'm just like, I'm just like, what are they gonna do? Like, I don't know, like whatever, like beef stuff, but I was just like, what are they gonna do? Like, all they could do is help you move out or have you move in with them. So we started working on the roof. She called me up like 3-4 times, like 6 in the morning when they started working on the roof. I guess she wanted them to stop, and that wasn't gonna happen. They did the roof. Then they did a siding, and then I think I pressure washed the outside, and she was complaining about me using her water. So I was just like, well, pay me rent. Like, you're not paying me anything. You're literally living off of my dime. And then, my wife was like, you're usually sweet to older women. I was just like, man, I was like, dude, this lady's like taking my kindness for weakness. Like, she's trying to live in this house for like a whole year, and I need my money back. Like, these loans are charging me interest every month. And she told me she was gonna move out after a month. So she like blatantly lied. And like you only could be so nice to a person before you gotta get nasty with them, because it's like being nice is not being nice, especially being nice in real estate. You only could be nice so much because people are gonna walk all over you. That's just what people do. So after we did the outside, I had the electricians, I had them change out the lights. And she like, man, she lost her mind. So she lost her mind. She had her sons call me, and I told her son straight up. I was like, why? I was like, she's not paying me any rent. I'm paying loans on these houses. I've been as nice as possible. Like what's up? And I think I talked to her that night, and she was just like, I gave a suggestion to her, and it just ruffled her feathers. And she was like, I was like, why don't you just move in with one of your sons? You have 2 sons. And she was like, my sons have families, and they have older children. And I was like, ma'am, I got a wife, I have a son. I was like, if my mom was in that predicament that you are in, I was like, I don't care if my wife didn't like you. I don't care what the situation was. I'm gonna go get my wife. My mom's in duress and she's stressed out, crying. She's depressed. I'm finna go get my mom. I'm gonna go get my mom. Go pack all this stuff. She's gonna come move in with me. If my wife got a problem with that, like that sounds like unreconciled differences to me. Like I don't care what my wife would have to say about it. I understand that like she had an issue with his wife, and I was just like, anybody would have had me messed up. Like under no circumstance, my mom would have been in that situation, and I would have allowed that situation to happen, and I went and got my mom. Like the Bible talks about the Good Samaritan that fell down, that he got beat up by like these like 3-4 people, and they like left him there, and then the good, like all these people, like they like walked past them. There's like 2-3 people, pastors or whatever they was. They walked past them, and then that Good Samaritan came and went to that nurse lady and was like, "Hey, look, here's some money. If he needs anything else, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna give you some more money." Like the Bible has that for a reason, because it tells you that you're supposed to be nice to your neighbor. Like this is your mom. Like I would have went and got my mom. I don't care what the situation was. I would have went and got my mom. So she got, man, that really pissed her off. She was like, you lucky that I raised my sons the way I raised them. And I was like, man, whatever your sons want to do, it is what it is. Like I didn't make no threats. I was just like, it is what it is. And after that, we were just like, so we found a place. We found a place. And then I called up the place, and I was like, hey, she's ready to move in like Friday. And she got pissed off. She was just like cursing me out, like, what makes you think that? Because she wanted she told him by the end of the month. And I was like, nah, she needs to move it out by Friday. Like it's already been like a month and 2 weeks. So she moved out. I got my little moving company. They moved her out. She was cursing them out. I got video footage of that. And she was like, they need like stuff over, because he had like one of those like trucks, like with the haul in the back, and he didn't have the big old U-Haul van like how a lot of the movers have, and she wanted that, or she was like, oh, well, you need something. What if it rains? And she was like, oh, I got nice furniture, which she clearly didn't, and she was like cursing them out. She was like cursing them out really, really bad, and man, we finally got her out of there, and we continued with the rehab process. We did the plumbing, and that lady, she calls me to this day. She calls me to this day because my tenant that I have in there, they never changed the water out of her name, and she just complaining about it. And I told her that just tell the city that the day that she moved out, and they won't bill her. They're gonna bill this guy. Like that's happened before. So, I finally got her out, and, that's some more stress, off my back. And, y'all have a nice day. Well, y'all mess with my affiliated links. Y'all mess with N1 Finance, Weeble, and my everything I got below. Y'all have a nice day.